along in history, there have been many empires and cities who have eventually collapsed for whatever reason. In the movie Aquaman, they mention an underwater city or kingdom called Atlantis. But this city is purely 100% fictional. However, there are cities that were built and thrived but eventually fell apart. We can now find these cities submerged underwater. Studying this finding, we know what those people were all about. 1. Lion City, Xinjiang, China. This city lies in the Qingdao Lake in Zhejiang Province, China. Qingdao Lake is also known as Thousand Island Lake, is a fresh water covering 573 square kilometers. The name comes from the fact that there are over 1,000 islands in the lake. This is a man-made lake created in 1959. The Chinese wanted to create Xianjiang Reservoir and Xianan River Hydroelectric Station. Hence, the valley at the base of the Wuxi, that is 5 Lion Mountain, was flooded in order to do so. This was a massive government project that forced 290,000 people to relocate their homes. More than 1,300 villages and tens of thousands of acres of farmland were intentionally flooded and submerged. Lying 400 meters below the lake's surface is China's very own Atlantic, which is frozen in time, the Lion City. It gets its name from the close proximity to the Wuxi Mountain or 5 Lion Mountain. It is believed the city of Xicheng, also known as Lion City, was built during the Tang Dynasty in 621 AD, making it nearly 1,400 years old. The city remained undiscovered and forgotten until 2001, when the Chinese government organized an expedition to examine this underwater marvel encapsulated in time. The early divers found Xicheng to be largely intact, with many of the structures, carvings, guardian lions and arches still preserved. Due to its submersion in fresh water, limited exposure to light and oxygen, the city remains remarkably preserved. 2. Dwarka, India. Dwarka, one of India's 7 holy pilgrimage sites, is not only religiously significant but also archaeologically rich. The city's earliest incarnation, known as the ancient kingdom of Krishna in the epic Mahabharata, was spread across nearly 84 kilometers as a fortified city where the Gomti River and the Arabian Sea met. When Krishna died, it was assumed that the ancient city sank beneath the Arabian Sea. The city of Dwarka, also called the Gateway of Heaven, is a 32,000-year-old underwater city submerged 100 feet below the Gulf of Cambay. Archaeologists discovered a fortified foundation between 1983 and 1990 on which the ancient city walls must have been built along the river banks. Stone blocks used for the construction, pillars, and irrigation systems were found. However, its time period is still being debated by archaeologists. Some believe them to be at least 10,000 years old, while others say they could be 5,000 years of age or from the Middle Ages. Some claim that Sultan Mahmud Begada attacked the city and destroyed the Temple of Dwarka in 1473. Several stone anchors have also been recovered on the site, suggesting that Dwarka must have been an important trade port during the 15th to 18th centuries, having trade relations with the Arabic areas. 3. Yonaguni-jima, Japan. Beneath the waters of the Japanese island of Yonaguni lies a series of mysterious rock formations. The strangely symmetrical shapes and structures of the Yonaguni monument, discovered about 35 years ago, have led to fierce debate over its actual origins. It was rediscovered in 1987 when a local diver exploring off the coast of Ryukyu Islands spotted a series of almost perfectly carved steps with straight edges. A pyramid-shaped structure, staircases, arches, and other shapes having markings could be identified as an ancient script, all hinting to a lost underwater civilization. It is said that the monuments are a part of a long-lost Pacific civilization, possibly built by Japan's prehistoric Jomon people, who inhabited these islands as early as 12,000 BC. Some scientists believed that these structures could only be man-made and point to an ancient civilization submerged some 10,000 years ago. However, some believe that the monument is natural, shaped over the years by underwater currents, and the carvings are simply naturally occurring scratches. It is believed that the ancient city was sunk by an earthquake 2,000 years ago. 4. San Roma de Sao, Spain. As civilizations bloomed and technology progressed, people started constructing dams and reservoirs to provide hydroelectric power. Unfortunately, in some cases, this led to destruction of ancient villages, towns, and historic structures. This is one such story of an abandoned church bell tower rising from the waters of a man-made lake at San Roma de Sao. The ancient town of San Roma de Sao was a peaceful and thriving community nestled in the Sao Valley, Catalonia, Spain. Till the 1960s, it was home to about 100 inhabitants. In 1941, a Spanish government under Francisco Franco decided to construct a dam on the Ter to create a reservoir which eventually slowly drowned the whole settlement. This 1,000-year-old village in Catalonia between Barcelona and the French border in northeastern Spain became submerged in 1960s. The village stays submerged except for the church spire which stands tall above the water level. The residents evacuated and took with them everything they owned. They even exhumed the dead bodies of their loved ones, placing them in new cemeteries, leaving nothing but walls behind. 5. Pavlopetri, Greece. Located at the western entrance of Vatica Bay, 20 meters off Puta Beach, the submerged city of Pavlopetri is one of the most famous underwater archaeological sites in the world. Its name, which translates the Pearl Stone, is directly related to Saint Peter and Saint Paul, the two greatest Christian apostles and martyrs who traveled far and wide, spreading Christianity during the 1st century AD. Pavlopetri is also known to be the oldest underwater city, dating to the Bronze Age, which was about 2800 BC. It covers an area of 50,000 square meters, equivalent to 7 football fields. It was discovered in 1967 by an oceanographer named Nicholas Fleming. Fleming was using an aerial photography to study the coastline when he noticed a series of unusual lines on the seabed. These lines turned out to be the remains of Pavlopetri's streets and buildings. Archaeologists have also revealed some aspects of the settlement's urban design from the Mycenaean period, that is the late Bronze Age, which ranged from 1750 to 1050 BC. These settlements including straight, narrow streets, courtyards and the foundations of at least 15 buildings, each consisting of multiple rooms. It also had an advanced water management system similar to the drainage systems discovered in the Bronze Age. The remains of 2 chamber tombs and 37 cist graves were also discovered, part of an extensive early Bronze Age cemetery that can be traced to the adjacent shore beyond the boundaries of the settlement. Researchers believe the city was submerged after a series of 3 violent seismic activities in the area around 1000 BC. 6. Tiquina Lake, Titicaca, Bolivia. Tiquina lies on the shore of Lake Titicaca, which covers more than 8,500 square kilometers and creates a natural border between Peru and Bolivia. According to the BBC, 24 submerged archaeological sites have been identified under the lake. A team of archaeological divers and Bolivian and Belgian experts have located thousands of items in the underwater sites. Some of these pieces will be brought up. A majority of these items still remain underwater and they are quite well preserved. More than 10,000 items were found, including gold and ceramic pieces and various kinds of bowls and vessels. Some of the artifacts have been estimated to be 2,000 years old, while others have been dated back to when the Tiwanaku Empire was one of the primary Andean civilizations. Tiwanaku was a major civilization in Bolivia. The main city was built around 13,000 feet above sea level near Lake Titicaca. It was one of the highest urban centers ever built and was home to 10,000 people between 500 AD and 1000 AD. In the year 2000, scientists diving Lake Titicaca discovered a 660-foot long, 160-foot wide temple with a complex which is about 1000 to 1500 years old. They also found a crop terrace, a pre-Incan road, and a 2600-foot wall. 7. Lago di Vagli, Italy. Lago di Vagli is a lake in Tuscany, Italy. The origin of this sunken lake village at the bottom of Lake Vagli began in the year 1257 AD. A group of blacksmiths moved from northern Italy to Tuscany. They came here for the iron that was extracted from the Apuan Alps and the villages of Fabrici di Caragini. This town became one of the most important centers for iron extraction for more than 4 centuries. However, in the 1700s, the main commercial routes changed and the occupation of locals shifted from iron working to agriculture and sheep farming. The life was quiet but also hard. In the mid-1900s, the course of this village took an uneventful turn. The power company of Set Valdarno decided to build a hydroelectric reservoir, a huge dam of 92 meters in height. Hence, they blocked the course of the Edron stream from 1947 to 1953. Residents had to evacuate to a new village. The ruins of the submerged village resurfaced when the same company decided to empty the pond for maintenance and operations once every decade. This later turned into a famous tourist attraction, the ancient underwater city in Fujian Lake, China. On June 13, 2006, an underwater investigation was carried in Fujian Lake, located in the Yunnan province in China. Archaeologists discovered remains of a group of huge ancient buildings at the bottom of the lake. The investigation team found many stones placed at equal distances featuring mysterious carvings. The discoveries proved that the magnificent architecture was built by civilized human beings. Some experts speculate that the site might be an ancient city of Yuyan which disappeared mysteriously many hundreds of years ago. Han Shu, a classic Chinese historical writing covering the history of the Western Han Dynasty 206 BC to 9 CE, once recorded that Yuyan city was north of the Fujian Lake. On further investigation, the divers found earthenware items, another evidence of a civilization. On studying these items, the experts came to a conclusion that the site was possibly from warring state to the Eastern Han Dynasty. After many failed attempts, team members finally found some shells attached to blocks. Through a test of carbon-14, an accurate time was discovered. The item was 1750 years old. This result proved the site sunk during the Han period, 206 BC to 24 AD. However, in the Tang Dynasty, 589 to 907 AD, there were still records of the Yuyan city remaining on land. Therefore, the lost city is not Yuyan as they were largely constructed from clay and wood. So guys, this is it for this video. If you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to like, share and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next week with a brand new video. Till then, bye bye.